Welcome to UCF's moment. The mayhem of game day, a massive turnout, students seizing the national stage to make pointed statements. This morning belonged to the Knights. But now the main event. Quarterback Mackenzie Milton and the winners of 22 straight, still battling for respect, face the season's toughest test so far. The challengers from Cincinnati. Michael Warren runs angry, carries a chip. He and the Bearcats have climbed from the depths to 9-1 and look ready to stake their claim to a conference crown. Inside UCF's rowdy bounce house, the American Conference game of the season coming up. In East Orlando with Florida's Space Coast in sight, welcome to UCF's on-campus stadium, and welcome to Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. And tonight's game between the Cincinnati Bearcats and the undefeated 11th-ranked Knights of UCF, the biggest game all season in the American Conference from the home of the self-proclaimed 2017 national champions. A marketing move that certainly stirred up the college football world. Welcome, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Maria Taylor will join us. This environment is hyped, and we know most of you folks are probably seeing these teams for the first time this season. You want to see what's UCF about. Do they belong in this playoff conversation? They have a chance to make a strong case tonight.
Well, after what they did last year and it culminating with a win over Auburn in a big bowl game, they're undefeated again. And so there are people out there that are probably saying, what's the fuss? And this is the stage that UCF has wanted. They're playing a great opponent in Luke Fickell's UC Bearcats. Let's get it on. Let's see what happens.
Josh Heupel will have his team playing at hyper speed. He can do that because Mackenzie Milton is such a strong quarterback. The Hawaiian putting up massive numbers again this year.
One of the better dual threat quarterbacks, and I think he's really adjusted well to Josh Heupel's scheme. You know, last year when Scott Frost was here, it was kind of the old Oregon offense with Chip Kelly. Now it reminds me really of the old Baylor offense with Art Briles. See how they spread you out sideline to sideline. They kind of force you to make a decision on the safeties. This time the safety comes down to help against the run. Mackenzie Milton recognizes that. And look at all that space they create for the vertical passing game. Beautiful throw there to Stetson for a touchdown. The other thing that they do a good job of is they stretch you. You can also run the ball. This time the safety says, you know what, I got to get back. I can't afford to be able to get beat deep. No problem. Mackenzie Milton feels that he has a great group of backs. You'll see Killens, number 9 tonight. Here is Greg McCray, who's come on really these last 2 weeks. Can see all the space that these formations create. And when you mix in tempo, which you'll see tonight, which we'll have some fun with, and the speed around a veteran quarterback, it makes this offense one of the toughest ones to stop in the country.
They say that contrasting styles make fights. Since he's a different style of football team, you got Luke Fickell, the former Ohio State defensive lineman and coach. He brings a tough Midwestern style. They stop the run, and they love to run it downhill at you.
You know, he coached obviously with Jim Tressel, and when you watch their brand of football, it reminds you of some of those Ohio State teams because they are physical. They are aggressive on defense. They win special teams, and they can run the football. And Michael Warren tonight, if UC's going to win this game, Michael Warren's going to have to play really well. And the reason is not he runs angry and runs with an attitude, but also if he has success, it opens up their play-action pass game, and then they can try to work the clock and keep Mackenzie Milton and all that speed on the sidelines.
It's kind of a young team. They're not used to playing in a hostile building with a lot of energy. How will Cincinnati respond? Because I promise you, the Knights are raring to go tonight. Battle for the driver's seat in the American Conference and so much more for UCF and their fans. The Knights and the Bearcats in the bounce house coming up. All right, thanks, guys. Welcome to senior night. And think about guys like Titus Davis, the vocal leader of the UCF defense. He and his seniors endured a winless season as freshmen. Now they're chasing back-to-back perfect seasons. On campus, these students used to make fun of the football players. They were the butt of jokes in class. Now they're being celebrated. Pat Jasinski, another tough Georgian, a linebacker. It means a lot. They've been in the deepest valleys you can imagine in college football, and now chasing perfection against the Bearcats of Cincinnati. This has been the Nissan pregame rush. Kickoff from Orlando is coming up next, but now a look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
We're off to Orlando, Florida this weekend.
The UCF wins! The streak stays alive!
Look at that stadium rocking so much, we won't be able to keep our cameras steady.
And run here on the 2 in a row and don't seem to be slowing down at all.
Chance looking, throws downfield. Nelson's there. Boom! Touchdown!
This is X sound full. Here we go.
We don't run from our opponents.
I don't think anyone should underestimate Cincinnati and what they bring to this game.
If you want it, you gotta watch. If you want it, you gotta watch.
We're going to really enjoy watching Michael Warren run this week. Cincinnati, the heart and soul of the team, is the front four.
30 seconds, everybody.
There goes Warren to the house. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
Hawk that ball. Secure. Let's go take it one play at a time. Everybody's got a job. Everybody's got a role. All right? All we ask you to do it the best of your ability. We want it more than everybody in this country.
And welcome back to this presentation of the American Conference on ESPN. The Knights, led by Josh Heupel, former championship quarterback at Oklahoma, 9-0 in his first season as a head coach. He's with Maria Taylor.
All right, Coach, your day started with the excitement of College game day. We just saw the emotions of senior night. How do you have this team focused for the task?
I told them in the locker room, let's just be us, compete as hard as we can for 60 minutes and enjoy the moment.
What do you think the statement is that this team can make tonight?
Listen, we're just trying to win a divisional title tonight. We're going to go out and play hard for 60 minutes.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Josh sounds ready, Kirk. It's an interesting thing to take over for Scott Frost, who had a perfect season, and put your stamp on it, but also don't fix what wasn't broken. It takes a guy that has his ego in check.
Done obviously a really good job doing it his way with his own style, and it's working.
And the bounce house is jumping. Knights won the toss and deferred. So Alden Knight and Jamal Wiggins back deep to receive the kickoff of Matthew Wright. And the pumped-up kicker drives it deep into the end zone. So here comes the Bearcats offense. They get Garrett Campbell, their sixth-year senior starter, back after missing 5 games. That is huge in this environment tonight.
Yeah, makes all the calls. Broke his ankle just, like you said, 4 or 5 weeks ago. The fact he's back is remarkable. We talked a lot about Warren Lewis, number 1, their most explosive receiver, but also Medeiros has to do a good job. They're going to see a lot of man-to-man tonight. Can these receivers win on the outside once they establish that run? The play-action pass game and explosives, a big part of what they need to do to be able to pull off an upset.
Desmond Ritter is a redshirt freshman from Louisville, a dual-threat quarterback who took over the job in the 3rd series of the season and engineered a comeback victory at UCLA. And the very first play, the play clock wound down. Not enough urgency. This is not a conference with a lot of tough, loud crowds, Kirk. This is very new for a team to deal with crowd noise, frankly.
He just talked about it. Luke Fickell's talked about it all week, how his team will handle this energy. Not just the crowd, but all the hoopla and all the noise around their program. And he's got a freshman quarterback on the road. He didn't even recognize the play clock as it was going down.
They divide the student section. The students are at each end of the stadium down near the field. It's loud at both ends for the visiting offense.
And the right tackle moved. Chris Ferguson.
Before the snap, all start. Offense on the 75. 5-yard penalty.
Ferguson, a senior who played no snaps, not a single snap in his career until his senior season.
Yeah, he earned his way into that starting lineup. We'll talk more about their offensive line throughout the broadcast, but this is an offense that needs to win on first down. They want 2nd and 6 and 3rd to 2. They're not built for these kind of situations.
Ritter from the pocket, pressure, delivers a throw over the middle, and catch is made at the 29-yard line by Khalil Lewis, the top receiver on this Bearcats team.
Nice job by Ritter stepping up, and I still think a UCF defender got his hands on the ball. I think it was Hayes, number 6, that affected that ball. It was almost like a knuckleball coming out of Ritter's hands. But he had enough on it, and they're going to review this to see if Lewis got his hands under to make the catch. See, the pressure right there affected the throw.
That ball looked like it hit the ground and aided in the control by Lewis.
There's a really good look at it right here. Tight coverage by Moore. Does a good job with that right hand to get his hand on the ball.
I thought he had control momentarily with 2 hands. Then the ball hit the ground and came up. Jack Winter is the replay official in this American crew. We'll have to see, Kirk, if in his judgment the contact was long enough before the ball hit the field and came up. Dave Kataya, as always, alongside as our rules expert. Dave, your take on this?
When he goes down to the ground, the point of the ball moves and it loses control. This could be incomplete.
That's a review. The ball hit the ground, therefore it is an incomplete pass.
Well, Kataya is 1 for 1.
Well, and give, as I said, Brendan Hayes, number 6, who plays very hard as a defensive end, some credit there. He got in, didn't get the sack, but affected the throw by Ritter, and the ball ultimately, because he had a wide open man, Lewis, coming across the middle.
Hayes, who wears number 6 to honor the 6th ward of New Orleans, his hometown, the area hit so hard years ago by Katrina. 2nd and 20. Warren goes in motion. Ritter looked that direction, but it's a keeper all the way, and he slides down, takes a big shot. He'll spot it at the 23. H.A. Wooten was there.
Luke Fickell jumped onto the field there because of the way his quarterback went down. But I think he slipped more than being hit, as he was deemed a defenseless player once he went down.
Ritter has gained 640 yards rushing this year. He's a long strider. He can get out and cover yards in a hurry when he gets space. 3rd and 12. Ritter has a clean pocket and now tries to scramble for the first down, chased by Jasinski, and there he is. It's a run to move the sticks after the 39.
You got man-to-man across the board, except Jasinski right here. He's spying, but he gets out of position. You mentioned, Chris, that Ritter is a long strider. You can see uses that speed with everybody in man-to-man, with the exception of Jasinski. He's able to pick up the first down. Remember, they started 1st and 20, and they pick up the first down. Big-time job by Ritter and the Bearcats.
Oh, he got 15 on that 3rd and 12. Ritter lost a close competition to the returning senior Hayden Moore, but took over the job in the opener. Coming back to beat UCLA. The offense is keyed around Warren. We talked about him in the open. They call him the truck. 218 pounds, but runs bigger than that.
Sure does, and they're going to have a big night from him. Ideally, UC, they want to run the football to set up Ritter off the play action. They want to get those linebackers and safeties concerned about the powerful Warren running that ball. Runs angry.
Warren, who turned 20 on Monday, owns the single-season touchdown record at UC with 18 of them, 17 on the ground. Second and 8. Ritter fires far side. It's a back shoulder catch by Lewis, and another first down in UCF territory.
I'll tell you, somebody forgot to tell Ritter he's a freshman. All this hostility, all this noise, he looks like he's been out there his whole life. Looks very calm, perfectly thrown football. Great adjustment by the receiver to come back to the ball. The timing perfect there with Ritter, the young quarterback, and Lewis coming back to make that catch, and all of a sudden the Bearcats are across midfield.
Different look now with Warden, the tailback, split out. Now he'll motion back in. Warren hit in the backfield, fights back to the line of scrimmage, but that was Jasinski with quick penetration.
This defense is determined to take away Warren. We keep talking about him. Watch him shoot. I mean, he's not waiting. He is not hesitating at all. They got the same scouting report that you and I have, and Randy Shannon, their defensive coordinator, remember him, of course, years and years with the Miami Hurricanes as a head coach and defensive coordinator, saying they are not going to run the football on us tonight, at least here early. That's what they're trying to eliminate.
Second and 10, keeper. They'll continue to hammer with that running game with patience, though.
They sure will. And they're going to have to, it may be one of these games you have to actually throw to set up the run, because of the way UCF is committing to the line of scrimmage on 1st and 2nd down. Early down pass may become a factor because Ritter is throwing the ball in rhythm and looks to be pretty confident.
Been a pretty good offense on 3rd and long this season. They need 9. Warren to the far left of the formation.
See that tight man-to-man coverage there by UCF.
Showing pressure.
falling out.
Pressure hit as he throws, and it's a high over the head of Lewis. That was Jasinski on the blitz, 4th down.
He's very fortunate that he got home. UCF rolled the dice with him coming through here, but watch how Lewis works across the middle of the field. He's all alone. Nobody in the middle of the defense, and because Jasinski got in there so quickly, Ritter not able to set his feet and make an accurate throw.
You love the chess match. You bring the aggressive blitz, but if he's a split second later, it's a completion in a big game. So James Smith, the left-footed Aussie, one of the best in the world at doing this, kicking it high and deep. And UCF gets a hold from the defense, but will take over for their first offensive possession, pin back. UCF offensive line. Miller is the leader of the group. Chudniv also a senior. Good battle between these guys in that rugged defensive front for UC. And here's the speed you talked about in the open.
Yeah, Adrian Killens can fly. Number 9, Snelson 5. He'll be in the slot a lot of the times. Otis Anderson can play receiver and running back. And Chris, I know you've watched this game this week. I did as well. Last year it was a weather-shortened game, but 8 possessions, 7 touchdowns, and a field goal. UC didn't stop him once.
Milton on the first play from the end zone hit. Ball's out. In a scrum. Bearcats have recovered it. Touchdown Cincinnati on UCF's first offensive play.
We just talked about last year, and this defense has been motivated all week, and they get the very first play. Fitz comes up with a sack, and it looked like Clements jumped on top of it for the touchdown. 2 veterans, 2 seniors step up here for this Bearcats defense.
Yeah, Malik Clements came around. Blindside hit on McKenzie, who didn't feel the pressure. Fitz credited with the touchdown recovery. We'll get another look at it. They're going to replay to see where exactly the ball was recovered, but that's very clear cut.
Yeah, Clements did come up with the hit. Blindside. Milton never felt him. Does a good job knocking the ball loose, and 51 Fitz jumps on top of it for the Bearcats touchdown.
We talked about the challenge of this Bearcats front. They got athletes across the board, inside and outside. Here's our progressive pylon cam.
Ball is already out, sitting in the end zone. 51 sees it, Fitz, jumps on top of it. What a difference a year makes. This UC defense, probably there they've improved the most as a team.
Is this... The field is confirmed. There's a touchdown.
Not a defense that takes it away a lot, and UCF not a turnover-prone team. That's just their 3rd fumble all season, just the 8th turnover.
And you mentioned Cincinnati not doing a good job creating turnovers. They're 105th coming in tonight, only recovering 4 fumbles on the year. In the first play, they come up with 1 for a score.
And Cole Smith misses the conversion. Just his 2nd miss of the season, so Cincinnati's lead is still 6-0, but what a start. After the 2 penalties, they moved the ball long enough to flip field position. Good punt, and then the strip sack and touchdown. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. When you put in the hours, the reps, and the heart, nothing can keep you from being blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
Now, this whole week has been about UCF, and we talked even this morning on game day about the respect that they want, the respect that they feel that they need to receive on a national level. I mean, that's really all. It's been more focus on that than who they're playing. And even some of their own players and coaches have talked about this is a big stage and what they've wanted. And they'll get dialed into this game and get ready to play. But you see clearly a motivated team in the early going here.
That's the risk of this offense. You drop back, your quarterback sets up very first play in the end zone. Ryan Jones to kick it away. Talked about Adrian Killens there. Very small but very fast receiver. He'll have a chance at this return from the 10. Flag comes in. Killens still running. Another flag. He's loose. You can see the speed. You can see what a threat he is. This return is going to come back, but number 9, very dangerous with the football.
Yeah, there was a hold there by UCF. You can see the flag come in right away.
During the return, holding 6 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, wide receiver Tristan Payton. This grabbed a Cincinnati Bearcat man that was coming down to cover the kick and just threw him.
Killens is a guy who's twice the 200-meter state champion in Florida. They don't mess around in this state with sprinters.
No.
He's run more than 23 miles per hour. They put those GPS things. That is fast, folks, in a football uniform.
A 10-2 100-meter guy. And you could see how badly he just wants a little bit of space to try to get out there and outrun anybody trying to chase him.
But the special teams mistake backs up the Knights to the 14. Otis Anderson, who's a hybrid, excellent at running back and wide receiver. He's in the backfield. Milton play action, zips a high throw, incomplete. He was off the hands of Dredrick Snelson.
I thought Marcus Freeman, the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati defense, and Luke Fickell made some interesting points to us this week. They said as much as you think about their speed and the quarterback Milton, end of the day, they still want to run the ball. We've got to take away that run game.
Play action again, and a miscommunication. Snelson was cutting inside. Milton threw it outside quickly. It's going to be 3rd and 10.
And part of the reason he had to get rid of that ball is Cincinnati bringing pressure, brought both their linebackers, got into the face there, and helped force Milton to have to throw that ball before he was ready. A lot of one-on-one coverage out there. That's what this offense does. See them space sideline to sideline. Defensive backs out there on their own.
Greg McCray, the running back, split wide to the right. And once again, pressure. And Milton's not going to escape. Dropped by Cortez Broughton, the senior defensive tackle from Georgia.
But nice job here of getting pressure. You'll see the pressure from the outside forces him to step up. And eventually, Cincinnati gets home to affect this offense. 4 snaps, and Cincinnati almost has UCF discombobulated right now and completely out of rhythm.
Textbook way to handle a juiced-up crowd as an underdog on the road, and now you get the colorful Mac Loudermilk. He's made a name for himself on social media with his colorful celebrations, just trying to get this punt away. And the lefty with a short boot, and it will bounce and go backwards and finally be down inside the 35-yard line. So the Bearcats, of a defensive score, take over in plus territory. Just a 30-yard punt for Loudermilk.
Saturday Night Football on ABC is presented by Walmart. Light up Christmas at Walmart. And in part by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Travis Kelce wrapping up his Bearcats career. Big season in 2012. And Kelce and the Chiefs. Tremendous matchup on Monday Night Football on ESPN. Taking on Todd Gurley and the 9-1 Rams. Monday Night Countdown at 6 o'clock. And Chiefs-Rams at 8:15 on ESPN. Almost happened in Mexico City. They shifted it to L.A. And now the Bearcats, Kirk, take over at the 35.
UCF showing a little bit of a different look. You see the 2 safeties back here a little bit deeper. Not as crowded near the line of scrimmage.
Warren has the edge. Stiff arm, actually a physical tackle. Great job by Nate Evans, who won that battle.
Yeah, this play is designed. You see the tight end coming in there. DeGuagra picks up a block, but he bounced it. He just running the grass. But you're right, Chris. Nice job by Nate Evans. I thought he might have gotten up around the face mask, but he didn't. Grabbed the jersey high and pulled him down.
Warren grabbed the defender's face mask, actually. Got away with that.
You're right.
3-yard gain, 2nd and 7. 5 receiver look. Ritter delivers quickly. It's a short, low throw caught by Dewar, the tight end. It'll be 3rd and short.
One of the things Desmond Ritter will look at is the same thing we've just talked about, is the depth of those safeties and how many safeties are back will help dictate whether they're going to end up trying to run the ball or throw.
Hold up the 3 fingers on the 3rd down play here. Marginal field goal range for the Bearcats if they don't convert this.
Ritter's legs are a factor in these situations.
Warren, power run, 1st down inside the 25. Evans stopped him, but the Bearcats move the sticks.
Zone read play, and mention Ritter because he's such a great complement. If you lock in on Warren too much, he can pull that ball out and get around the corner. And that's where they want to be, those third and manageables where they stay on schedule with this offense.
Keeper. Ritter. Knocked down at the 21. It's a potent combo, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
Warren-Ritter running game.
Yeah, just talked about how he can pull that out of there. And the defensive end that time, Hayes collapsed down on Warren. And he is not afraid, obviously, to run the football. A young man out of the Louisville area, played at St. Xavier High School. Kind of a dual guy, runner and thrower. And with that size at 6'4", he will surprise you with his speed.
Ritter takes a shot for the end zone. One-on-one battle, incomplete. Tried to get it to Ja'Shawn Jackson, the speedy true freshman, and Richard Causey was in coverage.
What's great about this game tonight, you're seeing a lot of one-on-one. Who's going to win these battles? Really good coverage by Causey. What you missed there is he took a little peek. He peeked back over his shoulder. He knew the ball was in the air, which allowed him to kind of time up and when to try to throw his hands up to distract the ball.
Another third down. This time the Bearcats need 7. UCF showing that blitz look again, but they back out. Ritter has the ball batted down at the line. 4th down.
This time they don't necessarily bring pressure. They do a good job of mixing it, like a little twist up front. And you'll see the freshman, 58, Charlton, knock that ball down. Right there with the right hand. A true freshman, Randy Charlton out of Miami.
Cole Smith, a little bit erratic this year. 5 of 10. Bickle still has confidence in him. This from 38 yards, trying to make use of the short field. And he has hooked it. Missed it wide left. So given a short field, the Bearcats can't cash in, and the kicking inconsistency from Smith continues. All right, Matt, thank you. UCF's run 4 plays, 2 sacks, and 2 incompletions. So trying to get a little running game going with Adrian Killens. Maria?
Well, Chris, right now the Cincinnati defense is very confident on the sideline. Remember, the defensive coordinator, Marcus Freeman, said they want to be aggressive and make UCF react to them. Now he's saying next play, stay focused and calm right now.
Well, UCF went on the tempo, but again, some miscommunication between Milton and a receiver.
It's just not, you're not used to seeing Milton uncomfortable, almost, you know, like he's antsy in the pocket, and it's because Cincinnati's bringing pressure. You know, he's been sacked 4 times all year coming into tonight. Tonight he's already been sacked twice in just the first possession of the game.
Milton 0 for 3, and it's 3rd and 7. Has protection this time and flips it to Dredrick Snelson for a 1st down. That's more like it.
And they'll go fast now. Just sometimes for a quarterback as experienced as Milton, sometimes it just takes that one throw to kind of get you established.
Play action. And down the seam when the catch is made by Snelson again. They found a matchup they like.
As the slot receivers are the most dangerous receivers, and if you've not seen UCF, this is them. They pick up a couple 1st downs. They're trained to get lined up quickly, and here they come again.
Milton is flushed and just flings it out of bounds. You can try to practice against this tempo. Freeman talked about it, but it's difficult when it's happening to you in person.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're trying to make sure you get lined up right. I keep going back to the Baylor scheme. This offense reminds me so much of Baylor, not just the formations, but also the tempo and how they get you on your heels.
Well, Milton's pass numbers are way down. They've been relying much more on the running game this year compared to last. Almost 500 yards more rushing. But now it's Snelson who could not collect that. It was a low throw. Incomplete. And it's 3rd down.
I mentioned Marcus Freeman. Maria mentioned Marcus Freeman. And Luke Fickell has a defensive background. And in fact, Marcus Freeman played for Luke Fickell at Ohio State when Luke was a defensive coordinator for the Buckeyes. And The last few years was at Purdue until he came over when Luke got that job, and really an up-and-coming star in the coaching profession.
A little more deliberate approach from UCF on this third down. Greg McCray, sophomore from Miami, is the tailback. And Milton has plenty of time against the three-man rush. All day to throw. Heaves it downfield, and it's caught inside the 10. McCray, the back, got downfield.
That's what happens when you rush 3 and drop 8. And you got a big linebacker one-on-one. He just got lost in coverage, and it's hard to cover him that long.
And the frenzy to line up. Milton thought about moving north and south to the end zone, but James Wiggins was in his path and knocks him down.
Wiggins was in man-to-man coverage, and he just rolled the dice. He felt that, hey, he's across the line. I'm going to go get him, and comes up with a big play. He was out there one-on-one with Snelson.
McCray, no, it's a keeper, and Mackenzie Milton scoots in for the touchdown. A very quick 79-yard touchdown drive in 9 plays.
Started off a little bit slow, and it was almost like once he hit that crossing route, they got that first down. It just ignited them, and they got into attack mode, which led them to this touchdown.
Matthew Wright makes his PAT. That's the difference so far, but you get a glimpse of this UCF high-powered offense after a slow start. They've seized a 1-point lead. Quarterback keeper, 9th rushing touchdown of the season for the Hawaiian. Taco Bell celebrating student sections. Passionate fans like the UCF Night Student Section by awarding the best student section of the year. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see if your team made this week's rankings and to see how your school can compete. They got a big student section, 12,000 here, 15,000 wanted tickets. It's first come, first serve. 46,000. That's the enrollment of Cincinnati. 68,000 for UCF. Two massive schools here. McClellan knocked down across the 25-yard line. Talked about Cincinnati's redemption tour. They were a 4-8 last year. It was a bad 4-8. Look at some of the losses. So far, they've been able to pay back SMU, Navy, and USF. Chance to do the same to the Knights tonight.
You know, Luke Fickell would tell you, second year, and for all coaches, second year, you see big changes, big improvement. They worked a lot on the kind of the intangibles of their football team, where the way they worked out, the way they tried to get to know each other better, be a little bit more invested, and it seems to have really paid off with the way this team has turned the corner this year.
They use the word the brotherhood a lot in Cincinnati. And there's Warren bouncing off tacklers, and the man who was Ohio's Mr. Football in his senior year, Toledo Central Catholic, moves the 6.
Yeah, we've all, you know, with all the fuss about UCF, us being excited to watch them, you and I, a lot of us here on our crew, we talked a lot about Michael Warren and how physical he is. And, you know, in Ohio, you win Mr. Football in 2016. There's a lot of big names you beat to win that.
He's got it again. Initially, he got some Big Ten offers. Committed to Kentucky, decommitted, then committed to Toledo, and he was won over by Fickell. And look at, he joins Robert Smith, who was the Archie Griffin of the Ohio ranks, won it a couple times. Charles Woodson, running back among his positions when he won it.
Yeah, and Michael Warren had a great career in high school, and their teams at Toledo Central Catholic had some great teams. But what I love, I keep going back to, I love running backs that run angry, and that kind of sums him up.
It sure does. Ritter rolling, and now will run. He's usually a guy who rolls and throws to his right. That's actually what UCF wants to do, is get him going that direction. Maria?
Well, Chris, you and Herbie were talking about the fact that Michael Warren runs angry. That's the way his dad taught him he was supposed to play football. Wasn't allowed to play two-hand touch or flag. It was immediately to tackle football. He said he seeks out physicality and wants to run through contact.
Love it.
Listed at 218, runs bigger than that. He's not going to be in the cover of Men's Fitness magazine, right? He's not sculpted.
Come on, dude.
Ritter has a high throw, and it's incomplete. And it's 4th and 3. Glad to get it to Lewis. Airmailed it.
He missed an open receiver. Has a flag, looks like, in the backfield. But Lewis to the right there playing some zones, finds the soft spot, and Ritter just not able to get that ball down.
Personal foul, left in the passer.
Maybe that's why.
Defense number 9, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Yeah, that's probably why the ball was high. Good push. Boy, they just got in there in a hurry.
And Tristan Hill is a big man. Do you like the call? Was it aggressive enough to warrant a 15-yard penalty?
You know, anytime there's a contact up high, you know, officials now, referees, they're going to make that call. That was really a gray area.
Yeah.
Anymore, man, how do you know what's a foul and what's not a foul when it comes to roughing the quarterback?
It extends the drive.
It varies with each crew.
Moves the ball to the 42. Now this time Ritter is going to be trapped. That's Joey Connors, the defensive tackle. Man, their guys inside can pressure.
Well, they also do a twist here that I think affects the communication. You'll see some movement here. See how they move the defensive end that time to the inside. Davis, I think that affected how they're communicating. Connors eventually gets free. That left side of the Cincinnati offensive line, we're going to have to get on the same page, because right now Randy Shannon finding a way to get through that left side to get pressure on Ritter.
It's a colorful group of misfits. They call themselves the Bash Brothers at UC offensive line. Got their hands full so far. Second 14, it's a run, not much. Brendan Hayes plugged the hole, 3rd and long.
That formation that they use there might be one that you might see Cincinnati revisit. They had trips into the boundary and have put a lot of the defense down to the bottom of your screen. And if Ritter pulled that, he's running for 40 yards. Instead, he gives it to Warren, but I guarantee you Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator of Cincinnati, will definitely want to revisit that where he may pull it.
Warren out, and the speedy freshman Charles McClellan in the backfield. He leaks out. Ritter's flushed. Tries to run for it, and is going to get the first down, and more knocked down inside the 25. You can see the long strider at it again.
Yeah, we saw him do this earlier. Look at the linebacker. Safety actually drops down, but he gets occupied with the receiver there. That's why he wasn't able to come in and fill in and try to be able to stop him from picking up those first down yards.
His second long scramble on the 3rd long. Got 19 there.
Yeah. Good awareness. Realizes it's man-to-man. There's a lot of room there. He just has to navigate the linebacker who's kind of sitting there in a spy, and outran him.
48 first quarter rushing yards for the quarterback. McClellan hit immediately and wrestled down. Quick penetration by Hayes.
Ferguson, the right tackle, Chris, you talked about how he hadn't played a down until this year. Watch how he gets beat to the inside. He took a step to the outside, and because they were blitzing Grant, the safety, the entire defensive line was slanting, and the right tackle, Ferguson, happened to just step to the right and opened up a huge gap hit that time for Davis to shoot through.
Warren returns. 2nd and 10. Ritter takes off, bumped into a lineman, and will be dropped right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Cincinnati's getting beat up front. They are taking turns on who's getting beat, too. We've seen Ferguson get beat. This time it's Morgan James getting pushed back into the backfield. The left side with Boyd, Trout. They've had some issues up front.
A.J. Wooten made that play once again, 3rd and long. Final minute of the quarter.
So if you're Randy Shannon, you got to be thinking, all right, guys, we're covering them, but we've got to keep an eye on the quarterback who's killing us, taking off, running, and scrambling against our man-to-man.
Now, they've been hurt frequently by running quarterbacks this year. Ritter has space again, and now fires along the sidelines, and it's incomplete. Catch not made in bounds. Thomas Geddes, the receiver, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, he's going to be looking to his left, but I want you to watch the tight end work over the middle. This is an area that's been a problem for UCF's defense all year long. Look at that opening right there. He just doesn't see it. And again, he's getting pressure, but he's got to see that pre-snap, that there's a shot to be able to take that throw right over the middle. If there's a weakness at UCF's defense, it's over the middle behind the linebackers.
Now, Cole Smith has missed a PAT and a field goal out there again. UCF should be wary of a fake. It's a 41-yarder for the lead. And it's blocked. And the Knights have a chance. They got a wall down the sidelines. Brandon Moore still running. Cuts it back and will be dropped inside the 25. Kicking game disaster for the Bearcats in this first quarter.
I think Joey Connors, 91, got his hands on the football right in the middle. Watch 91. Right there, he gets his hands up, knocks that ball away. And a great heads-up play, right in the middle. His right hand knocked that ball loose, and Moore, great job of being aware to pick that ball up and take off. He almost takes it all the way to the end zone.
Kind of a slow get off there. 1.45 seconds. So he took some turf on the kick. It was low. And UCF special teams have set them up at the 22.
He's now 5 of 12 on the year.
Yeah, hadn't made a thing tonight. 2 field goals and a PAT. Milton, his pass is deflected at the line. And McKenzie, as brilliant as he is, Kirk, it might be a generous 5'10". They list him at 5'11". He's going to have passes batted down. He's a talented guy, throws it at all different angles.
Yeah, he sure does. He's figured out how to work around that, and I just love his competitive spirit. I mean, he reminds me, his spirit reminds me of Baker Mayfield from a year ago, Trace McSorley, that type of quarterback.
Good comparison. And he's a quick runner, bursts down to the 16-yard line on the final play of the first quarter. Well, Bearcats jumped in front. UCF answered, but the kicking game the difference. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Blue Devils hanging around, Kirk.
I like the purple unis. Just want to put that out there. I'm a fan.
After the Connors block and a 60-yard return by Bam Moore. It's 3rd and 5 for UCF on the 17. Milton from the pocket, loops into the end zone. Diving catch for a touchdown, Adrian Killens.
Well, they create a pick here or a rub with the outside wide receiver working to the middle. Gets in the way of the linebacker, White, who's in man-to-man. It's hard enough to stay with Killens to begin with. But now you got to navigate and get around traffic to try to run with him. Well designed by Josh Heupel. Perfectly executed and a nice throw.
For Killens, his 3rd touchdown reception of the season. Milton's 23rd consecutive game with a touchdown pass. So many moving pieces, and they're fast-moving pieces. Versatile athletes in this offense that can do a number of roles.
Absolutely. And I think that versatility is important because, especially with Killens, Otis Anderson, they can be lined up as a running back. They can be lined up as a slot receiver. It makes it very tough defensively to know what's coming. The special teams have really hurt Cincinnati, and any kind of momentum that they had created early in this game.
And you mentioned Luke Fickell and the Tressel impact in his career. What did Jim Tressel always emphasize? Special teams, and it's been a nightmare. Well, I don't want to say it's been a tough first quarter for the young kicker, the freshman Cole Smith, but missed PAT, missed field goal, blocked field goal. And we'll show you another look. He absolutely got run over.
Yeah, he got hit.
Run over on that return and was getting some oxygen afterward on the bench over there.
Yeah, as if missing a couple field goals isn't bad enough. He gets decleated.
It was into a fetal position there.
It's like, leave me alone. All right, let me just.
Wow.
He's got to regroup. I mean, it's still a long game here for the young guy.
Can't have a worse first quarter as a kicker than that. And UCF, after spotting since he has 6-0 lead, and now up 14-6, and McClellan is hammered hard in the return short of the 15-yard line. Jacob Harris made the play.
Great job. I was surprised Cincinnati decided to take it out, but boy, nobody touched Harris on the way down. That is a big play. Again, another big play for UCF and the special teams. I mean, Cincinnati, they started off good, and in the blink of an eye, this is who UCF is. You know, just like that, boom, 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 and it's 14-6 after they couldn't get a lot going early.
A lot of ways to beat you. We talked about the use of the running game. So far, it hasn't been there. Negative 2 yards rushing with the 2 sacks, but it's been Milton heating up as a passer. And now Ritter has to answer. They feed Warren. He's got a crease. And he's in the loose, and it was a pre-snap adjustment that opened the door for him there.
Yeah, the safety, Gibson, ended up cheating down late and actually took himself out of the play. And by him coming down like that, watch, he's right here, he starts to cheat, and he ends up blitzing. They're trying to account for that running game, but watch him take himself completely out of the play and allows Warren to get underneath him and pick up all that grass. Big yards.
Ritter rolls and slides down, still takes a big hit high by Causey.
Yeah, Causey hit him, but he also got hit from behind there. Looked like by number 12 there, maybe it was Mitchell. Watch that hit right there. That was the big hit. Causey hits him, that's fine, but this hit right there.
It's a defensive position the quarterback's in when he begins the slide. No flag. Picked up 6 and is now chased. Ritter fires incomplete. UCF is accomplishing what they want, so they're getting the roll to his left where he's not as effective.
Yeah, they right now are doing a good job of just winning at the line of scrimmage and getting him to flush him out of the pocket or get their hands up and affect him and from trying to throw the football. Hill that time just kind of got a push right up the middle of that offensive line.
UC just trying to weather this frenzy here, this push by the Knights. They need 4 to keep this drive alive. Ritter's missed his last 4 passes. Pressure again. Steps up, hit as he throws, incomplete. Brendan Hayes is whipping the O-line.
Yeah, their only chance to throw the ball when you know they're going to throw is he's got to get the ball out of his hands quick, or he's got to be able to get out of the pocket. I'm surprised they didn't make a call on that, the possibility of a horse collar.
Man, he took a swing at his head with the right arm and missed. Otis Anderson back as a returner at the 20. No, Randy Shannon, he promised us his defense would bring a lot of pressure today, and they have. Smith, he flagged down as he boots it. And the catch made back at the 15-yard line. Ooh, hard hit. More flags flying in. A physical return. And check out the multiple flags, and now a scrum, some pushing and shoving along the UC sideline. You could hear that hit.
Just want to clarify on that third down, that horse collar, if it's inside the pocket when they're rushing the quarterback, he's good.
It was a physical tackle, and then he did try to whack him with the right arm. Missed.
Yeah.
Discussion of the multiple flags here. One came just as Smith was booting it away, and then a couple more came out on the return.
Illegal motion on the kicking team moving forward at the snap. During the return, holding number 4, the receiving team. Those penalties will offset. We play 4th down.
Cincinnati, number 1 in the country at net punting, 44.1. Smith, 24-year-old sophomore from Australia, so you know I like it. But the Bearcats do a great job covering those punts too. So Cincinnati defense going to go back on the field trying to contain this UCF offense, which is really heated up. Milton, after a slow start, running for 1 touchdown, then throwing for another. UCF typically doesn't go after punts. They don't get too adventurous on the punt return. They're very content to just let their offense take over and do its thing. Man, can he kick it. Drives the returner back to the 6-yard line and trying to get the edge. Anderson, that's a nice return, spun around and dropped at the 22-yard line. Flag again.
Yeah, block in the back there late.
So that will back up the Knights.
It was Gibson, 25.
You do see some flags in this conference. 5 of the 22 most penalized teams in the FBS are in the American Conference, including these two.
There is no foul for illegal block in the back during the play. Action from the side. The first down. Timeout.
So they pick that flag up. And the drive for UCF will begin at the 22-yard line. Up 8 early second quarter in Orlando. And Matt, thanks. That wild Big 12 race. The American game of the season so far. UCF up 8. And they hand it up to Taj McGowan, senior from Hollywood, Florida, the most physical back. And that's not a good sign as Terrell Gilbert, the cornerback, walks off for the Bearcats.
Tonight he's got a big role. We've talked about UCF being in those 4 receiver sets.
Downfield shot. Milton slings it. Caught. Trey Nixon down at the 25. Man, he throws a great deep ball.
A great deep ball. He gets behind James Wiggins. Just who can win that matchup? Remember, I talked slot receivers is where they do most of their damage against man-to-man. That time he gets behind Wiggins.
McGowan a short gain, and right away with Gilbert the corner out, they take a deep shot in the next play.
Yeah, I mean that is a big loss because Gilbert, who started early in the year as a corner, has been playing that nickel spot tonight to help against the speed of the slot receivers, and by taking him out, potentially a big hit for the Cincinnati defense.
47-yard catch by the transfer from Ole Miss. Nixon. Milton from the pocket, flags down, and the ball is bounced.
Cincinnati jumped there. Free play.
Offside. Defense number 92. A 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Curtis Brooks. And Cincinnati experiencing what a lot of UCF opponents have in this streak. Things getting away quickly. McCray cuts it back and is knocked down short of the marker there. Nice job by Jarrell White.
It's a good job by this defense. One of the things that they felt they had to do is just set the edge, keep the edges of their defense, force that ball carrier back inside where they have more jerseys, and that time they were able to do that.
Need 2. Knights 3 of 4 so far in third down. McCray against a run blitz. And it's going to be short. It'll be 4th down. You need more than a yard here.
That was well timed on the blitz that time. I think it surprised the offensive line. Both the linebackers able to get some penetration to slow him down.
Get Tristan Hill, big 300-pound defensive lineman who comes in and as a lead blocker, and sometimes more in these short yard situations. Little sugar huddle. And the inverted wishbone, they're going to throw for it. Lobbed, incomplete. They were all over the tight end, Flubiali. They loved that play, but Bearcats were ready for it.
And I couldn't tell if Forrest, the safety, got his hands on the ball or not. The bottom line is good discipline by the Bearcats defense. He's actually back here. He works eventually to try to get open. Look at the Bearcats. They were anticipating this, and it's a good job. Even if Forrest doesn't get his hands on the ball, I think he did enough there to distract him to prevent him from coming up with that play.
Flubiali is a guy that's very agile, nimble, not a big tight end, but a talented receiver.
Bigger,
it's good scouting.
Almost like a bigger wide receiver that they use in ways where they can take advantage of his ability to have those great ball skills.
So Heupel goes for it. And the Bearcats a crucial stop. Ritter keeps it. It's a good block on the end. That's Jaguar, the tight end, who was clearing out some space, and he picks up 8.
Yeah, good push out there. I'm telling you, right now, we expected Warren to come into this game, expecting him to run, but they can't get anything established in the middle. So I think the best option right now is Ritter getting out on the perimeter with the ability to run or throw.
Warren, the big truck, hasn't yet gotten in gear. He's got it on 2nd and 2, and he's got the first down. Number 5 ranked rusher in Ohio history. More than 7,900 yards. We talked about his brilliant high school career. Still feels like he's been doubted his whole life and told what he can't do. That chip continues into his college career. As you said, runs angry. Got it again. Falls forward for about 6.
Nice job with a double team and the inside there. Big center Garrett Campbell, who's shown a lot of heart tonight just by playing tonight. He and Kyle Trout, an Ohio State transfer, got a good push that time to give Warren some room to work.
That time, Warren tripped over the ankle of a lineman. Almost feel like they had a conversation over there in that offensive line group. They were getting beaten badly early in this game, not trying to impose themselves.
Well, they're going to have to. They're going to have to come together. Their continuity has been a strong point for them this year, but they keep getting pushed back into the backfield. You mentioned how he tripped up over an offensive lineman's feet. It was Chris Ferguson, the right tackle, who at the line of scrimmage got pushed back 2 or 3 yards.
3rd and 4. Blitz. Ritter gets it out and overshoots his man. It's going to be incomplete, out of bounds. Lewis grabbed it. Clark was defending, but it's 4th down.
That is a tough ball to try to convert on 3rd down.
You saw the blitz coming and just took a shot on the edge with that battle.
And be it 3rd and 4. Surprised they didn't try to get Ritter outside. Again, with that ability and that threat with his speed to have a chance to run for that 1st down. Not a very high percentage throw there.
So UCF will get the football back up 8 as Smith boots it high and deep, and Anderson makes a fair catch at the 19-yard line. 8:40 in the 2nd. UCF up by 8.
Saturday Night Football, presented by Walmart on ABC, is brought to you by Pacific Life. Experience the power of Pacific. The unexpected energy of ExxonMobil. Energy lives here. And Ford. Built Ford proud.
Shaquem Griffin, such a part of that UCF win over Auburn in the Sugar Bowl. College game day after making its first stop this morning in Orlando. Back to familiar territory, Columbus, to set up Michigan and Ohio State. Buckeyes surviving in overtime. Comeback win against Maryland, and Michigan getting an injury today. Chase Winovich, their excellent pass rusher. Some conflicting reports, but Winovich seems possible he'll miss that big game, which would be too bad for the Wolverines. Killens, who caught the touchdown pass, is the back. And he's got it. He's going to be wrestled down. One way to contain his speed is to stop him before he gets going, and that was Jarrell White.
Jarrell White, who's starting at that will linebacker spot for Perry Young, who got hurt against Navy, and they call him just Perry Young was one of these energized type of players, and it's big shoes to fill for White that time. Nice blitz on 1st and 10 to be able to get into that backfield.
3-yard loss, and now Milton fires in the slot. Catch made by Gabriel Davis, his first of the night. He's near the marker at the 29.
Now, those were those slants he was throwing in the 1st quarter and the first couple possessions where they seemed to not quite be on the same page. That time they were.
Cortez Broughton, one of their best defensive players, the defensive tackle, senior, is being looked at. And we'll take a break. They have moved to 6. It's a 1st down for UCF. Just a couple days ago, the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket blasted off from the Kennedy Space Center Thursday afternoon, carrying a communications satellite. It's due east of the stadium, about 39 miles through the pine forests. And it's exactly the same latitude as the 50-yard line of the stadium. A lot of grads of UCF work in the aerospace industry in the Mission Control Center. So first down throw and a catch by Killens out of the backfield and came very close to breaking it long before Wiggins corrals him.
They got away with a pick here. This one was actually pretty physical by Marlon Williams. And the reason we have a Cincinnati player down is the linebacker right here. Watch this. Boom. Lowers his shoulder. I mean, he didn't try to hide and use it like a rub route. He actually lowered his shoulder and made a block there against White.
Williams is a big receiver, Kirk. He goes about 225. Doesn't catch the ball often, but he's effective in plays like that.
And again, Killens, he doesn't need a whole lot of room to get out and be trouble for a defense. That was a crack block by the big receiver.
So now in back-to-back plays, Cortez Broughton, one of the leaders up front, and Jarrell White, one of their top tacklers at linebacker, down on the field. Broughton is up, walking around, which is good news. He got body slammed. That's why he went out of the game.
Yeah.
Let's go to Maria.
We saw Cortez Broughton come over and he got his left ankle retaped. And we also heard about Gilbert. It is a leg injury, but he should return. They're still evaluating him right now in the locker room, guys.
Thanks, Maria. The injury is beginning to pile up. That UC defense, thankfully, one for Broughton, not severe. As White is checked out.
Should mention that ball being caught behind the line of scrimmage allowed the big receiver Williams to make that block. If he catches that downfield, obviously that would be offensive pass interference.
Got a few backups now in for this Bearcats defense as the Knights go to work first down. And Killens, he's a guy that they're not afraid to run him in between the guards there at 160 pounds.
No. I mean, it's something you have to make sure that the linebackers and defense are aware that you have in your repertoire.
He's much better in space, but he doesn't mind mixing it up a little bit.
It's good to see a couple of those Bearcats running out onto the field. The guys that were knocked out, White, Broughton, both checking back into the game.
Crowd booing, but they were allowed to make that substitute because the Knights changed personnel. 2nd and 8. Milton wanted to go downfield, just checks it down. And Killens able to squirt into Bearcats territory for another first down.
Remember, we talked Cincinnati felt that we have to stop their ability to run the ball, and UCF has said no problem. We're going to throw the ball for big yards tonight if that's going to be your approach. Only 6 yards rushing, 170 passing.
Very different look to this offense tonight.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's the leader of that O-line, Wyatt Miller. They've been such a powerful running team this season.
But I think you got to give Josh Heupel and his staff a lot of credit, because what they're doing is they're saying, okay, we're great offenses in college football today. They're not just going to continue to run into something you're trying to take away. They're going to have an answer to, okay, you're going to load up against our running game. No problem. We've got McKenzie Milton. We've got receivers. We're going to make you pay for one-on-one coverage.
1st and 15. Milton keeps it, and he'll get about 3 yards back. Yeah, they average 7 inches more passing than running. 0.2 yards. They've got to work on that balance.
They get balance, a remarkable 271, 271.
7 inches difference.
Yeah.
Milton from the pocket, zips it across the middle, and a catch is made right at the marker by Snelson. He's been busy tonight. 4-star recruit out of Miami.
Yeah, they put you out in space with these formations, and if you look at their wide receivers before the snap, all the way sideline to sideline.
Defense barely set. Milton takes a downfield shot to the corner, and it's incomplete. Trey Nixon was close to a catch. Jeffries in coverage.
The great thing about using formations like this is it forces the defense to kind of dictate what their coverage is. And this is one-on-one. This is just good against good. Nixon at 6'2", a nice route, uses his speed to get behind the corner. Just unable to connect there with Milton.
Ball was fading a bit just off his fingertips.
But I mean, look at these wide receivers. There's a wide receiver way up there and way down here.
Milton blitzed, gets it out, and threw it over the head of Otis Anderson, who was streaking on a slant.
And what that does when you have all that separation is look at all the space that's back here. And you're on an island. You got a safety in the middle of the field, and that's it.
That's a miss by McKenzie wants that back. That was a touchdown. 3rd and 10. McCray motions out. And Milton, another shot downfield. Catch made. Nixon, touchdown. Come close the first time.